Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the fun show here at Big TV.
Riley had a little
What? You're mumbling.
He was singing Old MacDonald to O'Reilly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Old
O'Reilly had a farm.
Old O'Reilly had a deli. E-I-E-I-O.
Exactly.
This is the May 22nd edition of the fun show here, and you have already noticed that we have a full house as our old stalwart, or former stalwart, not old, our former stalwart, Kira Miner, is joining us and paying a visit in a small break from her judicial training that's going on. And so we welcome her. Sitting behind the Kira keyboard is our mentor and host, Michael Sallin, whose fingers are finding random keys. Actually,
almost something identifiable.
He's gone back to the Civil War, but other than that, he's had other things. Okay. Sitting next to me is Susan Harrington, who is rounding into shape after her operations and things, and has about 3 shows in production at the moment, it sounds like.
Wow.
And I'm Arch O'Reilly, and there
you are right, the original.
I am the only, no, I'm not the only Arch O'Reilly.
But you will be at the Harvard commencement coming up.
I will have my top hat on and my striped pants and be enjoying Harvard commencement. And once again, contrary to centuries of tradition, it's going to be a little damp.
It's going to.
There's a tradition that it never rains on Harvard commencement. But people used to plan their weddings for Harvard commencement day because it never rains.
That's funny.
However, there's a secret
it's
to
illogical.
that. It's not rain unless the president says it's rain. And I've been there, as I'm fond of saying, in a number of heavy dews.
Nice.
Dew heavy enough to have me bring rolls of paper towels for people to dry their seats on things. The current occupant of the Oval Office finds himself in Israel today, where he somehow couldn't contain himself and voluntarily admitted that the information he gave away to the Russians had come from the Israelis, which the government had very carefully avoided admitting or stating.
Yep.
And so he just bursts out and says, I never said Israel in that interview.
Okay.
He's
going to be there tomorrow.
I am, but fortunately he will have been on his way. I think he's on his way to Italy next or something like that.
I don't know. Is he seeing the Pope or seeing NATO next?
I think it's the Pope is due, isn't he?
Well, he's seeing the Pope, but I don't know if it's tomorrow.
I'm waiting for that.
We'll see. We'll see if he makes it, because apparently they're already reporting that he's exhausted, and his staff is offering that as an excuse for his misspeaking. You know.
And he must always be exhausted. I think so. I think that's what that's saying.
He's very exhausted. Yeah. Well, I find it very interesting that the person who wrote The Art of the Deal, which theoretically he wrote and was his claim to fame, and in fact, he didn't write any of it.
Nope.
The only thing he contributed to it was insisting his name be bigger on the cover of the book. But the guy who wrote The Art of the Deal 2 days ago said that it's his considered opinion that within 2 months Trump will quit.
I'm not, if he's not going to get impeached, that makes...
He doesn't like the work. He doesn't like being criticized. He doesn't like things not going his way. But he said, typical of Trump, he'll declare victory on the way out.
Oh, yeah.
What do Mueller and Comey have in common?
I don't know. What do they have in common, sir?
They were both the FBI directors.
I knew the answer to that, but I really thought it was going to be more challenging than that.
But one of them, Mueller, will ask questions of Comey. That's kind of interesting. The two of them are facing off to each other.
We are living in the middle of reality TV
I'm
right
not sure.
now.
Yes.
It's surreal. But it's real. It's surreal, but it's real.
Isn't Mueller's tenure as head of the FBI second only to J. Edgar Hoover's?
I think so. You're
And
right.
also,
About 12
interestingly,
years.
he
He's
was
highly respected, which is a good thing.
he was once the U.S. Attorney in Massachusetts.
Interesting.
Yes, so he has a connection to the People's Republic. So, I under in the dark net, the grapevine, I hear that the so-called person of interest, the smoking gun in the Russia thing, is little son-in-law.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Jared?
Poor Jared.
Poor Jared.
Yeah, boy, he ain't
Why
so-
poor?
You know what? He's the guy who can't celebrate his or practice his religion from sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday without being judged for the president's failure in that block of time. That disturbs me. Okay, I see it come up every time, and it's so poor Jared on that level.
I don't see that he's helped us much.
You know?
I don't know that any of this has been helpful at all. Any of it.
Do you know that the Japanese Emperor Akihito,
This is what we call a segue.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is going, that Japan is going to allow him to abdicate, that man.
The emperor.
Yeah, the emperor.
Yeah, 'cause
they
it's
have
usually for
never
life.
done it. They've
Yeah,
never done it before, and they say they won't ever do it again.
Well, that's ridiculous to do something and say you're never going to
Yeah.
do it again. I mean,
It's illogical. So I'm sure they'll do
Wait a
it
minute, but
again.
isn't that like isn't that a position that's you get to by a birth?
yes, yes.
Well,
So he should die. That's
he-
what they're saying. He
but
normally
he's
he'd
God.
die
To
to get
them,
out
he's
of it.
almost
So what's he
he's
going to
a
do?
deity.
Pass it to his? Does he have any offspring?
Well, no, the funny thing is, isn't it a daughter that they're
That's-
proposing
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
it over
'Cause he
to?
didn't have any
They
sons.
turn it
And
over to
be an
her.
empress,
Yeah, I think
which is
there's only 2 males of the
line.
line. So,
Yeah.
and I don't even know where they fall in all this. So.
But, you know, the thing is, it's a hereditary position, but as is all royalty, you know. And, but, you know, many kings have abdicated and passed it on to
No, that's how
to
Elizabeth got to be where she is today.
people. Yes, yes.
Do you know that
But she's not going to do it for
Oh, no.
Charlie.
Titano Oddfellow, did you ever hear of him? He's going to be in a Metropolitan up-to-date opera. And he's the first man, he's covered with, what are those things all over him?
Tattoos?
Yes, very nice.
wow, that was a good.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done that.
Covered with those
Covered
things
with
all
those
over.
things.
Yeah.
Like I would not have got
He's
that.
covered with tattoos.
Yeah.
Got
okay?
it.
And he's going to play this part of a strong man. He isn't that strong, he says. And he picks up the director of this opera that's going to be at the Met. He picks him up. His name is Phelim McDermott is the name of the director. He picks him up with his teeth. He has a leather thong all around him, and then he picks up this guy with his teeth. And that's the most, he's going to, that will be in the Mozart opera of Così fan tutti.
Alrighty then.
He got the role, this guy.
He might as well. That's my unfavoritist opera in the entire
I thought it was
catalog
great
of
fun
operas.
myself. I liked it.
Sounds interesting.
Okay, so
but
I'm not sure how we got there.
Oh, of course not.
we know it was
of course
random.
not.
We went from the emperor
we random.
to the Queen of England.
To a tattooed
Yeah.
opera singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the kind of guy who has tattoos on his face and everything else?
Yes.
Oh.
He has it everywhere, all over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had two
So it's like
horns
Lydia,
sticking
the
out of his
tattoo
head,
lady?
too. What?
Like Lydia, the tattoo lady.
Lydia, oh, Lydia. Oh, have you seen Lydia? Lydia, the tattooed lady.
Okay.
So, all right. So this is interesting. This is where it's gone. I remember the day that Carol Burnett's daughter was cast for Rent, and they had to redesign all the costumes because she had so many tattoos. They had to redesign the costumes.
What character was she?
I don't know which one. I don't remember, but one of the.
Was Was she the prostitute?
One of the Bohemians. I don't remember
They were
the
all
character.
kind of bohemian. Because all that is it's an
It's
updated.
La Boheme.
That's La Boheme. That's
Yeah.
all it is. West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet, and Rent is La Boheme. Can you believe it's been 20 years?
Yes.
Jonathan's been dead 20 years.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's been supplanted by Hamilton, right?
Yeah, but I mean, wow, he's been gone 20 years. Wow, I mean,
World victims are calling hackers bluff. The ones who have all of their computer equipment failing because they have to pay up or else. And and what's happened is it's not just Trump. He's the one involved with this. The payoff deadline nears in computer ransom, whatever it's called, Wake, and the attacks. And is the risk too great for the world? That's the question. $300.
You mean if they pay the ransom, it's a risk to the world?
Well, if they pay the ransom, everything goes back to normal, like these people
No, it doesn't. It spurns thousands of more people to do it
That's
themselves.
right.
Oh, you're looking into the crystal ball again. You're always coming up with these predictions.
Well, I have great faith in that. every time you bend to an evil scheme, you only encourage it.
Did you think that the Celtics were going to win Game 3?
no,
Of course not.
Well,
that
Of
was
course
a
not.
beautiful.
I thought they would.
Now, ask me if I cared.
we know you.
Do you
don't care.
care?
Hell no.
It's a standard answer for 20 years. Okay.
But anything to just undo or unseat LeBron James.
Okay.
You
What
know,
about old folks?
Well, at least he's now one notch down to San Francisco, right?
Okay.
Because San Francisco is undefeated in the playoffs.
Oh, all right.
They've won every single game. And Cleveland had won every game up till last night.
Oh, all right.
So in that sense, it was interesting, you know. Plus, it was nice that a substitute was the star.
And the substitute. Okay.
Who
What
had
about old folks? You guys never talk about old folks.
We are old folks.
Cost,
I am old folks.
In what context would you like
cost
me to talk
of-
about old folks?
the cost of assisted living.
Yeah, why do you hang around with old folks, Carol?
It fills my heart, genuinely.
Yes, and
You
it
decided
also
to come now, you got the question.
it also keeps you on your toes as the subject changes
Yes.
very quickly in odd
Dramatically.
directions. Yes.
9 times out of 10, I have no idea what they're referencing, and I'm just smiling and nodding over here. I'm like, what?
Don't feel
Does
bad.
anyone care? Pick a new piece of
Hey,
news.
Kira, don't feel bad. You're with us.
Something else that the president didn't figure on. Canadian colleges see a surge of foreign students.
Yeah.
It's not just President Trump's politics. The visas cost are cheaper, and I guess they must be.
But you have children with parents, because I have a number of friends in my community theater circles that one parent is from Canada, one parent is from here, and their kids are at McGill paying $3,000
A year.
a year.
I know. I have a niece.
Terrific deal.
Wow,
McGill,
I would
yeah.
say so.
They have a law school.
I have a niece up there.
But it's British law. Okay, what?
That's not going to help me.
I have a niece up there, and it is true. It's inexpensive. They also have fewer holidays,
Yes.
which
do
is
have fewer.
which is interesting.
Okay.
Well, you know, any way to get out of this. Another great statement from DJ Trump today.
Okay.
He issued a press statement remarking on how he was dedicated to world peach.
World peach.
Nice.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Excellent.
Now it's a
You,
fruit
you know he's
cake.
exhausted. You know he's just tired. He's
He-
just having a hard time because he's
He
tired.
wants peach in the Middle East.
Well,
Oh, on another form, there was a very famous, apparently very productive and famous safari leader, a guy who got Americans to come over and pay a lot of money to slaughter poor wild animals in Africa. And his name was Botha, which is interesting because that was the name of the president of South Africa before Mandela. And he was leading a bunch of people out the other day, and they encountered a small herd of elephants, and his people ended up shooting an elephant, which then fell on him and killed him.
Wow.
That's called
When did this
karma.
happen?
Yes.
A day
Sounds
or
like
two
karma.
ago.
Oh, okay.
It's called
Karma.
Isn't that what you would have said for Roger Ailes?
Yes, karma.
Karma.
Yes, that was a good celebration. Although his son at his funeral said, "I'm coming to get all you people who attacked my father, and watch out, I'm bringing hell with me."
Did he really?
Yeah, 17 years old.
Oh,
Smart-mouthed punk kid.
Okay.
time.
That served him well. Oh, it's time for our play.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation
And I do mean
for this evening, which is a decade deep in the vault, entitled Eviling, which seems appropriate under the circumstances. And tonight, we're going to have this side of the table read the play, while Michael resists the temptation to play silent movie music underneath the play.
I don't think he's going to resist.
All right, action.
I was thinking about running for office.
You're serious?
Why?
I shouldn't have waited.
But it's politics.
Leadership and stress.
You know power corrupts.
But I know a lot.
Yeah, but can you raise money?
I'm concise.
So what?
What about the evil?
I'm an honest woman. I'm an honest woman.
Good people commit terrible acts.
I don't know. Looks like an axe murderer to me.
Doesn't kindness count?
Next, you're going to bring up trust.
We mustn't be cynical.
You got to keep a positive attitude.
Do unto others as you would have them.
Oh, Muslim suicide bombers are killing innocent people.
Seems pretty evil.
But they've been promised a place in paradise.
Evil is as evil does.
Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Castro, Trujillo, Mikhailovich,
Dictators and evil.
Rwanda, Cambodia, Kosovo.
And you realize that's just lately.
I'm only running for a school committee.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Mussolini was an elementary school teacher.
And Adolf Schicklgruber was a paper hanger.
There's plenty of evil to go around.
Horror movies.
The Twin Towers. Pearl Harbor.
But that's reality.
Evil is real.
The Salem witch trials.
A curriculum question?
It could be about creationism versus evolutionism,
From the Big Bang to the cavemen.
Genesis to Renaissance,
Why can't we accept both and just get over it?
Boy, is she naive.
and unpolitical.
She's a loser in the recount, I see it.
Discounts evil.
No negative attack ads.
Spin is against her.
Ignorance is evil.
Where do you get this stuff?
Oh, well, we've got civilization and we've got evil.
You can't have one without the other.
Isn't that a song?
Let me ask you, how do all these folks end up in prison?
There are evil consequences.
Someone should investigate the school budget.
How about the school personnel?
The president suggests the president suggests means testing for S&S, Social Security.
That's good.
The CEOs and their golden handshakes.
Gordon Gekko and greed is good.
Scrooge would absolutely agree.
Hey, it's a part of our system.
And it's not evil?
It's human nature.
Some people are just smarter than others.
Yeah, are they the no children left behind?
Well, it bothers me.
Homeland Security can handle all of it.
Maybe I need to consider this some more.
We need courageous people to fight evil.
That sounds vaguely religious.
Why not?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, I'm boiling.
Do-gooders versus evildoers?
The president said there's an axis of evil.
But we did capture Saddam.
Bin Laden is still out there, though.
Defining evil isn't easy.
I think you should be a candidate.
She'll probably lose.
That's politics.
But it's not evil.
We're used to it.
You know, she's no crook.
If I won, it wouldn't hurt anybody.
unless you discovered chicanery.
Which, of course, would lead to explosive charges.
I just wanted to improve things for the kids.
Yeah. You approved funds for a field trip to Australia.
But you went along to chaperone.
I thought the guy was very knowledgeable.
Oh, sure. Nothing wrong with a lobbyist for a textbook manufacturer.
But I didn't defraud anyone.
It was, however, unethical.
And there very likely was evil intent.
I didn't know.
Ignorance is no excuse.
Evelyn Kleistmuller said that.
Before they hanged him.
Black out.
Black out.
There we go. Well done,
2005. Osama was still alive.
That's right.
Osama was still alive.
Oh, now we have his son doing propaganda videos.
Oh, do we?
Yes,
Okay,
unfortunately.
go ahead. I got a good question.
Uh-oh.
Susan.
All right.
Okay.
The Boston papers, the Globe in particular, the Herald, not so much the New York Times, they're talking about trouble with the budgets.
Yeah.
They're going to have to cut teachers. And that means teacher pools and seniority. And and there'll be like last year, I think there were about 47 or 50 people who didn't have a place to go because nobody picked them to fill out a slot at their school. What do you think about all this?
It's going to get worse with that DeVos chick who doesn't know what she's doing. They want all these charter schools, and these principals are Nazis. They're picking people who are, they're picking all these poor little young folks who are afraid, and anyone who has a brain in their head who is saying, well, geez, I have my family to go home and cook for. They're making their lives a living hell. And they're not giving them jobs.
You don't
What
want
about
anyone
kids?
You don't want
What
anyone-
about them? That's the whole thing. They don't care. And you don't have parents that come in and they stay away from open house. They don't participate. They have nothing. They don't do anything. They put everything on the teachers and in some cases the administration, and there's nothing. The parents have no responsibility.
Clearly, we don't want anybody with a brain on their head
No.
on your staff.
No.
You know, they might figure out you don't know what you're doing.
And look at
These
that.
50 teachers, or whatever the number is, are sitting in a room over there at the headquarters. When
Is this
school opened.
Is this New York or Boston?
No, this is Boston.
It was New York last year, and
It
actually
happens
it
in
was
Boston,
at
too.
Boston too last
Well,
year.
it'll be interesting to see if what is that Seti Warren is talking about running for governor.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you
What's
see
that
that?
mean?
Well, it
Your
just
cousin Seti.
My cousin Seti. What?
Yeah.
You said it was your cousin.
He is my cousin Seti.
well,
What's the face?
Cousin from another mother.
Well, your cousin's always from another.
You got an Indian in your background too.
it just
American.
It just ought to be interesting to see. They made Laval's life a living hell, and now this person, if he comes in, he's got a different, another whole set of baggage, and and Newton's got another whole concept on how they function.
Well, my problem is that all three of the Democrats at the moment are all linked in one way or another to Deval Patrick. And
great
frankly,
American.
that's a big negative
Great
to me.
American.
I don't want anybody who had anything to do with Deval Patrick in my government
Can you
at all.
remind me what your gripe is with him? I should know this.
Well, number one is he had the worst judgment in the history of politics in who he appointed to things. His appointments were worse
Wait, you
than
gave
Donald
him
Trump's.
really? Because that's what I was just going to call you out on that. Be like, you compared you worse than Donald Trump.
Obama thought he was
Deval
great.
Patrick's appointments were worse than Donald Trump's.
Wow. I don't
And-
know that I'm going to ever be able to agree with that. But anyway, moving on from that particular
Moving
opinion.
on, okay.
What besides what particular opinion did he do? Like, who did he appoint that you despise, or like where did it go wrong?
Well, it's not the most politically important position, but the best example of it is Crosby, the head of the Gaming Commission.
Okay.
is a great example, but just most of his people were really bad, frankly, Charlie Baker's not that bad a governor.
No,
As a matter of fact, as we stand right now, I'd be perfectly happy to see Charlie Baker.
What will he say
reelected.
about these
Okay.
teachers that don't have a classroom and are getting paid? What will Charlie Baker say? You know what he'll say. I know what he'll say.
You
what
do?
did he say?
Yeah, you're out. We're terminating you guys.
Well,
What else?
Well,
Isn't that what
The
he's supposed
lawyers
to do?
won't like that.
frankly, from a public policy standpoint, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say.
Okay, all right.
I mean, the thing is, it simply does not make sense to pay public employees not to work.
Well,
It also does not
agree.
make sense to have a top-heavy administration.
I
So you
agree.
have all these. They take these schools and cut them up into these different academies. So they
Yeah.
take one high school, like in Boston, it used to have one principal for 4 schools. Now they take one high school, make it 4 academies. You got 4 principals, 4 assistant principals,
And co-principal.
and then there's nobody teaching. But then they won't hire teachers.
Right. Obviously, they have entirely too much staff, and they have entirely too much middle management. And I mean, what the heck? I'll go ahead and say it. I, in the last couple of years, have spent a good deal of time in Boston schools,
Well,
or
you're entitled in this
or Henry
program.
Knox has, but
Yeah.
in any case, I've
You're
spent a lot
entitled
of
to
time.
say it.
And I've only met 3 or 4 administrators who impressed me at all.
No.
You know, and I mean, I've met assistant principals in schools in Boston that I wouldn't let pour my coffee at Starbucks.
Most of them have never taught. They didn't live in Boston. They never taught in Boston. They've never taught in any class anywhere. But they're telling all the teachers who are killing themselves every day
How they
how to
should do it.
teach. And instead of taking those clowns out and then putting teachers in the classroom, and instead of having 25 and 30 in a classroom, taking a class down to a size of 15 or 20, or bringing in social workers that get on these parents' behinds and make them come in and deal with their kids that are tearing up rooms and raising holy hell.
Okay.
Well, I was very, very upset that the people of Brookline were clearly not paying attention to their school committee in the last election.
And Boston
And
hasn't
didn't
got
care.
a contract for these
And,
teachers also that she's talking about.
All right.
Go ahead. What were you
No,
going to
never
say?
mind. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No. What else? What else you got?
I found it very interesting that Bibi Netanyahu had to order his cabinet to appear at Trump's arrival in Israel when he
Interesting.
discovered that almost his entire cabinet planned
Called in
to
sick.
not attend.
Wow.
So he had to call in his cabinet secretary and said, "You be there."
What do you call it when it's, when it's the police?
Or
It's the
else.
blue flu.
the
What do you
blue
call
flu.
it when it's the cabinet flu?
I think it's the BB flu.
BB
or maybe
flu.
it's the DJ flu.
Did you? I don't know if this counts, but I didn't hear about anybody in the Trump administration being invited to Pippa's wedding.
No.
Why would they have been invited to Pippa's wedding?
Well, yeah, why would she want to do that?
There would be no reason for
You know, it was
anyone to
very
be at Pippa's
interesting.
wedding
Who's
other than her
Pippa?
sister, Kate Middleton.
She's Kate's sister.
Oh.
Princess
Pippa.
of.
It was interesting because there were only 100 people there
At what? At her wedding?
at her wedding.
Well, they said it was going to be small.
So that was
I don't
that
think
was
it was
sort
a
of interesting.
political. It was not. I mean, I don't think her wedding was a political forum. I think.
No.
You know, where
No.
Kate Middleton's wedding was definitely a
Oh, yeah.
political.
You had to be
You know.
you had to be Roger Federer to get an invitation, I think. is what it was. He got an invitation.
no.
Yeah.
Do you know who Roger Federer is, Michael?
Yes.
Okay.
Night,
Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams.
But not next week.
But not next week. Why?
Isn't it next week Memorial?
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. We will not be here Memorial Day. Do not put your trash buckets out next week. Next week, you can start with your black containers. Good night, everybody. Have a nice time.
And you show up
We'll
at the
see you in
Veterans
2 weeks with the fun show here from Big TV.
What does that mean,
One
black
week.
containers?